$110 for Borderlands 4? That's like 52 frozen cokes from Macca's. Let's see if it was worth it or if I should have just bought those 52 frozen cokes. If you're looking for a game with the combat of Doom, the loot of Destiny, and a great story, well then this game is for you. But if you struggle with sometimes repetitive gameplay loops and praying to RNGesus that you get the perfect bit of gear to drop, maybe give this one a miss. Personally, I love this series and what it has to offer. So let's break down why. So first off, the controls. See, this game uses the tried and tested control system everything uses these days. Everything is where it needs to be. It's easy to use, easy to understand, and easy to change if needed. The only critique I really have in this section is with the grapple hook being the melee, that sometimes in certain situations, if you're facing the right direction, you might end up grappling instead of meleeing your enemy. So I'm still going to give this a 10 out of 10, even though there's a really minor issue that realistically doesn't matter. Gameplays and systems. So if you're unfamiliar with the Borderlands series, it's a looter shooter with heavy RPG influences. They achieve this using a few systems, but first and foremost is the inclusion of a leveling and skill tree system. This allows you to build your character exactly how you want to play them. Combine this with the seemingly endless amount of guns and unique modifiers for those guns, it feels like there is so many unique ways to get the job done. But it does come at a cost of some of the builds being a lot stronger than others, and some guns removing the need for skills altogether. But all in all, this game really does all it can to make sure that combat is exciting. And thankfully, because that is all you'll be doing in this. Shooting, looting, shooting some more. Another thing I really love for this game is the interesting boss mechanics. The first time I fought Idolater Soul, it scratched an itch that I haven't had scratched since WoW or Destiny 2 raids. But unfortunately, these interesting boss mechanics are few. I'd love to see more introduced as they release more DLCs and more boss fights. The only real design flaw that I've noticed was the level scaling. If you sit there and push the story without doing any of the side quests, your enemies can quickly start to outlevel you by a large amount. It can get so bad that you can empty pretty much all of your supply of ammo into one enemy and not be able to kill them. Like it's really bad. And I see this being a real issue for those people that just want to jump on, play through the game to learn what the story has to offer and then be able to leave. Because of this, I'm going to give it an 18 out of 20. I think it's an amazing game. There's some awesome systems. There's one glaringly obvious issue with the level scaling thing, but all in all, I absolutely love the way that they've made this game. I feel like even though it's unbalanced in some respects to people's skills and guns that you can acquire, I think it's unbalanced in a way that makes it fun, if that makes sense. Like I feel like being overpowered by choice is fun sometimes, and then when you want to scale it back, you can. But yeah, I really love this game, and I'm going to give it an 18 out of 20. Now, time sync. This is actually a really hard one for me to score, and it's might not be the reason that you think. Because while this game never forces you to do anything that you don't want to do, it is definitely a grindy game. As mentioned in the system section, leveling requires grinding for XP. Good item drops need to be farmed from bosses to get the perfect roll. And with the level scaling issue, that is realistically the only thing that this game forces you to do in order to progress with the story reasonably. But with that being said, you're never forced to spend time doing something that you don't like. You can just log on, kill some bosses, kill some enemies, get your XP, and then log back off. There's no dailies or weeklies that you need to do. And I really don't want to dock this game too hard because of that. Because realistically, if you're playing a game like Borderlands, you're doing it to farm and grind for these insane drops. So I'm going to be giving this a 15 out of 20. I think that's a real fair score for time sync, especially because I don't want to dock it too hard for the whole entire point of the game. Alright, now time for easily the best part of this entire series, the story. Borderlands has had an interesting story right from the start. It's always been an absolute banger. And a whole video could be made about how it all works together. fully explaining the ins and outs of this story, and I feel like the story of this game just adds so much more depth to it. I'm really excited to see where it heads in the future. There's this whole like end of times things going on at the end of this game, and I'm really interested to see what they do with it. But it's always been a running thing with the Borderlands series as well. Like, Lilith has been the main character in all of the games. I don't know so much about the prequels, but definitely the 4 main games, she has been a pivotal role. And she's a character that you could play as in the first one. So seeing her constantly being brought back and some of the other characters being brought back, it makes you feel like, hey, I played as her. This is her story continued, but from a different perspective. And I really love that. Each story is simple, easy to follow, and leaves me excited about what lies ahead. So I'm going to give this a 17 out of 20. I think it's an absolute banger of a story. So the big question, was playing this game satisfying? Well, honestly, it's a bit biased because I've played since Borderlands 1, so I know exactly what I was going to get when I started playing this game, and it delivered in every point. There's an amazing story, amazing character development, amazing leveling system, powering up system, seeing big explosions, funny humour. I think it's got the whole package. I absolutely love this game, love the series, so I'm going to give it a 27 out of 30. And that leaves us with a total score of 87 out of 100, which is amazing. This is the best game that I've reviewed so far. Would I recommend you play it? Well, if you love grinding to see some big numbers pop up, to see enemies disappear as soon as you shoot them, 100% you should play this game. If you shy away from a bit of a grind, which there's no blame to you there, I completely get it, maybe give it a miss. You might enjoy it still, honestly, for the humour and the gameplay, and just skip the grinding. Realistically, you don't need to grind for good guns. Yeah, 100%. Everyone should play it. Every single human being on planet Earth that plays games should play Borderlands 4. There, I said it. Alright guys, before we get on to our little completion ceremony of putting this game's sticker on our banner, I just want to say thank you so much for your support to try and hit 500 subs by the end of the year. I think we're currently at 440. If you haven't already,
please
sub
me. Please. Pretty please. I'm so lonely.
Alright, let's get into it. So this is the sticker we have for Borderlands 4. As is customary, we're going to shrink this down a little bit to roughly the same size as these, and we're going to put it on the board. Now, I sort of want to... I feel like this is a little bit of an empty space up here, yeah? Shrink that down a touch more again. I think right in the middle is nice, right there. Right at the tip top, what do you reckon? Or we can stick it above the trucks. Yeah, I think that's nice there. I think that's good there. Heck yeah. Alright guys, now we can officially brag that we've finished Borderlands 4 on stream. Next game we're playing is Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'll see you then. Bye.